welcome back, Crazy Monkey Midwest video blog. I promised today we were going to show some drills instead of me just talking into the camera, so my buddy Juan here is going to help us out. Today, what his session was focused on was really working the CM1 hand defense. And so we do that a lot, and it's something that you keep coming back to again and again and again. And so since you're doing that, there's a tendency, sometimes it can get a little monotonous, so we like to change things up, and that's where we start adding in play drills. So we kind of inject a little bit of play, a little bit of kind of fun into the training. So one of the drills that we do, and we're going to show right now, 3 different variations of a drill that we use specifically for the defense, but it's a play drill, is what we call the midget sparring drill. Or, if you're not happy with that term, you can call it shorty sparring or little people sparring, whatever you want to do. Okay? So instead of him just standing there and working his CM1 hand defense, what we're going to do is, once we go down on both knees, okay? And so I'm not going to really explain the drill too much, I'm just going to show the variation. So the first variation is he's on his knees, butts up off his heels, and he's just working his defense. So from here, okay, and I can kind of vary the power a little bit based on kind of what he feels comfortable with and what he can handle. Okay, so that's the first variation. Second variation is he's going to go up on one foot. So it doesn't really matter. Usually I encourage people, if like Juan fights in an orthodox stance, so his left foot's in front, so I would have him do it first with his left foot in front. But it's good to do both sides in this case, because it feels different on either side, so you want to do both. So this is the second variation. He's up on one knee now. Good. And I should say, later on I can start adding in other shots. I can add in uppercuts, overhands, hooks, but for today I'm just working jabs and crosses with him. Okay, so that's the second variation. The third variation is the fun one. So he's going to start on both knees, and then at any point he can go up onto one knee, and then he gets all the way back up and ends in a good solid hunchback position. So he's getting his good fighting stance. Right? So that's the third variation. So he's here, working his defense. Whenever he feels comfortable, he goes up on one knee, and then back up, and then if he wants, he can also circle off. Okay, so what you just saw was some video of Juan doing the midget sparring drill or little people sparring drill. And we showed 3 different variations of that drill. One on both knees, one in a half kneeling position, one knee up, one knee down. And then the third where he started on his knees and then had to work his way back to his feet. So 2 things real quick about that drill. The variation we showed, I was just using jabs and crosses, and I was using the focus mitts rather than boxing gloves. Also, he was just working defense, so he wasn't allowed to hit back. So you can make tons more variations of that drill by either one, me using boxing gloves instead of focus mitts, or 2, making it more of a sparring drill where he's actually allowed to hit back, both whether he's on his knees or one knee or up. And then you can also do it where for the drill, I wasn't moving around him, I just stood in front of him. You can also do it where the person punching or the person standing is moving around in a circle. That adds another dimension to it. So tons and tons of different variations that you can do with that drill. And that's just one of the play drills that we like to use to kind of break up the monotony and just get a little bit of a different feel when we're working on a particular skill, like in this case, the CM1 hand defense. So what does this really have to do with play? And what does it have to do with what I talked about in the last video? Well, the first thing I wanted to say is I pointed out in the video that what you're physically doing doesn't necessarily, it's not the activity itself that you have to define as either frolic, competition, challenge play, or war. It a lot of times is just the mentality that you bring to it, or in my case, as a coach, it's how I position it or how I present it to my client based on either what they've asked for. So if they've asked to really work on self-defense, or if they've just asked to do something fun, do something different. So that same drill could fit into any one of those 3 categories. It could be frolic, and that's kind of how I introduced it with him today, was we're just going to do something a little different. You've been working your defense a lot, so let's change it up. Let's do something, kind of give you a little different feel for it, and just kind of something fun, something different to kind of break it up. So that's one way to do it. In the second category of challenge play, where we're really focused on performance and kind of bettering
your game or his game, I can point out that there actually are very specific benefits to doing that drill. One of the main benefits of doing that drill is working on what we call a lockdown in kind of the mid, rib cage, torso area. So a lot of people focus up here with their hands when they're doing their defense, and they don't really focus on keeping that hunchback position where you kind of take your rib cage and lock it down. Well, by putting him on his knees, where it's harder to kind of balance, he doesn't have his feet to hold himself up, he has to tighten up a lot here. And that actually helps him stabilize and get the feel for what it should feel like even when he's standing up, of kind of getting that lockdown position. So I could have also positioned that drill as, hey, this is something that's really going to improve your performance. So we're going to make this all about your performance and your game, which puts it in kind of that second category of that challenge play. So frolic was the first category, challenge was the middle category. And then third, particularly with the last variation where he started on his knees and he had to work his way back up to his feet, if we were in a self-defense class, I could very easily just position that as a self-defense scenario where you're on your knees, maybe you got sucker punched or you got tripped or you fell or whatever, and then you're on your knees, you're taking punches, and you have to get back to your feet. So how I present the drill can change kind of the focus or the category that it's in. So it can be a true kind of play frolic drill where we're just having fun, or it could be taken very seriously where this is about self-defense application. Now, the interesting thing and kind of the claim that I'm going to make is that even if he was wanting self-defense, that doesn't mean that I have to take it to the level of war all the time where it's a super serious, super hyper intense kind of training. He'll still get the benefits if I do it as a play drill because he's physically doing the exact same thing. It's just I'm not putting that additional stress or pressure on him by positioning it as, this is fight for your life, self-defense, really serious training. So that's something that I do a lot with my clients where we might be doing something where if I really positioned it as war, it becomes very intimidating and it becomes kind of stressful. But my clients aren't coming to me for that necessarily. So they get the benefit of that training, which will help them in a self-defense situation. But yet I'm not positioning it that way. I'm positioning it more as play or frolic and having fun. So that way they get to really get a lot of the practice in, but without the stress. They get to put the practice in a way that's a lot of fun and very addicting, and they really want to keep doing it because it's fun. And they're not taking on additional stress. But yet at the same time, I'm doing something playful that actually has a carryover even to self-defense. So I hope that's easy for you to understand. That's a little bit of kind of a different way of looking at training. It's one of the ways that I look at training because to me, at the end of the day, if we're not having fun, then my clients aren't going to keep coming back and keep wanting to train. So we tend not to focus too much on the high pressure, high stress type of training, but we can physically still do things that are going to help in a self-defense situation. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the drills. There's lots more where that came from. If you have any questions or if you want to see any requests, you want to see different kinds of drills, just hit me up on Facebook, Crazy Monkey Midwest Martial Arts on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can always check us out at crazymonkeymidwest.com. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one.